All right, today we are talking about adding another level to solving absolute value inequalities. So the ones we've solved so far, the absolute value was already by itself. The ones we're going to look at right now, which you can add on to your notes from last time, look like this. Absolute value of 3x plus 9 minus 10 is less than negative 4. Okay, so what you'll notice is that we have our absolute value here. I'm going to highlight it in pink. And then there's some other stuff there. Okay, we did this with equations a while ago, but we have to get the absolute value by itself, or we have to isolate it. Okay, so we see a minus 10 over there. That means we have to get rid of that before we can solve. And I know you might have noticed that we have this less than a negative, but we can't decide about any special solutions until we have the absolute value by itself. Okay, so we're going to start by adding 10 to both sides. Now I have absolute value of 3x plus 9 is less than 6. Now I can decide and do all the steps we did before. So I decide on my word by looking at my symbol. This is a less than. So when I go to rewrite my inequality, I have 3x plus 9 is less than 6. And the word I just chose, 3x plus 9 is, remember, flip the symbol, change the sign, greater than negative 6. I'm going to put my line down the middle to help me out. I'm going to solve each one at a time. So on the left, subtract 9 from both sides. 3x is less than negative 3. Divide by 3. X is less than negative 1. And we'll solve the other side. Subtract 9 from both sides. 3x is greater than negative 15. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X is greater than negative 5. Okay, so once you get the absolute value by itself, where we did right here, then it's like you have a brand new problem like we solved last week, right? You're going to write your two inequalities, no more absolute value around them. You got your word in the middle, switch the symbol, change the sign, okay? And then, of course, we're going to graph. Make sure you've got both of those numbers on there. Notice that we're going to have open circles on the negative 5 and on the 1. And because it's an and, our shading goes in the middle. Done. Okay? Get the absolute value by itself. From there, solve like you already know how. Next one. Okay. On this one, again, notice, here's my absolute value. I've got something else there, right? I have that negative 3. Now, what's happening between the negative 3 and that absolute value? It's multiplication because it's right up next to it. So to get rid of the negative 3, I have to divide both sides by negative 3. On the left, they cancel out, so I'm just left with the absolute value. On the right, I get 6. Now, hold on a second. I divided by a negative. So what does that do to my symbol? Flips it the other way. So you need to wait to decide on a word until the absolute value is by itself. Otherwise, you might choose the wrong word, right? If I started at the beginning, I would have chosen an or. But here, this shows me it really should be an and. So I have x plus 2 is less than 6, and x plus 2, flip the symbol, change the sign, is greater than negative 6. from there, you solve it real quick. Minus 2, x is less than 4, and subtract 2 over here, x is greater than negative 8. I'm going to go by 2's on this. Save me some time. Open circles on the 4 and on the negative 8. It's an and, so my graph's in the middle. Okay, so we divided to get rid of that negative 3. Because it was dividing by a negative, we had to flip the symbol. And then once you have this step, which you have to make sure you write down for many reasons, right? That's where you look for any special solutions. It also shows you your words, so if you're missing that line, that's not good. Then we write our two inequalities, solve like we knew how to do before. All right, and then one more I want to talk about with you. We're just going to start to set it up. I won't even solve the whole thing to save you some time. All right, absolute value is right here. Is it by itself? No. We can see two things here, though. There's a negative 2 in front. There's also a minus 3. Which one do I have to get rid of first? Think about our friend Sad Meg, right? Undoing order of operations backwards. So we have to undo the addition and subtraction first, which means I'm going to add 3 to both sides to start. Then I undo multiplication and division. So I would divide by negative 2 on both sides. Oh shoot, I forgot to put an inequality symbol in there. Sorry, it was supposed to be a less than. Make sure you switch that, okay? Less than, not equal to. We're not doing equations. All right, when I do that, I'm going to have to flip my symbol because I divided by a negative. So now it's a greater than. Absolute value of 5x minus 1 is greater than 4. Okay, so that shows you how you're going to get the absolute value by itself before you start. And then if I wanted to keep going, I'd do 5x minus 1 is greater than 4, or, because it's a great or, 5x minus 1 is less than negative 4. And I know that you can